We got Maryland this week. Very, very trappy. The Maryland Terrapins of College Park, Maryland. Who's your favorite Maryland alum?
Probably the Under Armour guy.
You don't even know his name. That can't be.
Nope, don't know his name.
Can't be it. It can't be it.
Can I say Mello Trimble?
I'll take that. That's good. I'll one up you. I'll go Grievous Vasquez.
Oh.
One of the better point guards I've ever seen.
John's saying Randy White.
6'6" out of, I don't know, where was he from? Venezuela, something like that. And Scott Van Pelt, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Scott Van Pelt. I think that's always a classic one. Didn't Larry David go there too?
If Larry David went there, I changed my answer.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Larry David went to
Steve Blake. Ooh, Brad. Steve Blake wasn't first off the tongue for you? Lakers legend Steve Blake?
I do like some Steve Blake.
We know you love Steve Blake. Come on.
Yeah. So we got Steve Blake, we got Larry David, we got Scott Van Pelt, we got Grievous Vasquez, Stephon Diggs is going. We want to go football. What are some other good football players? They haven't had too many past few years. Roman Hemby, probably a big one for them.
Oh yeah, Roman Hemby is by far my favorite.
Roman Hemby
by far, and Kellen Wyatt.
And Kellen Wyatt. Yeah, it's a bummer. Kellen Wyatt couldn't make it to this game. That's a bummer.
Can I say Yarden Garzone? Will I get crucified for that one?
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, we got Maryland football. So let's just do a little history lesson. Let's flash it back to 1953. Why did I choose 1953, Keezer?
That's a great question, Brad. I was wondering the same thing.
Yeah, that is their first and only national title.
So they won before the UCLA Bruins.
Yeah, they did the year before. The funny thing about that is that they actually lost in the Orange Bowl to Oklahoma, 7-0, and they still won the national championship that year. How fun is that? I love old school football. We just use hypotheticals because if Maryland played Oklahoma again, they beat them. So their national title, their national champion, because they're undefeated before. I love how we used to do that. That's awesome. Yeah, under Jim Tatum, a guy that won 3 conference titles in his last 5 years from 51 to 55, led him to a national title in between that, and a little sandwich. 10-1 season, 1953. And then just a whole lot of mediocrity up until 1974, where Jerry Claiborne won 3 straight conference ACC titles. Right, and then he falls into mediocrity and leaves for another job. And then they go Bobby Ross, who wins 3 straight ACC titles from 83 to 85. And then they go in 01, they go back to mediocrity. Then in 01, they hire Ralph Friedgen. They win the ACC, their last conference title to date. And guess what? They go back into mediocrity, and they're basically exactly where they have been. They go Randy Edsall, DJ Durkin, Matt Canada, and then Mike Loxley, who's probably had the longest run since Ralph Friedgen at this point, in his 7th year. Nick Saban coaching tree. He's been doing what I'd say is an all right job for Maryland, to be honest.
Continue. I was going to say, I think I want to do a little pause here because I think we both have a better appreciation for Mike Loxley than most of the general college football public want to give him, because you look around and this feels weird to say, but it's not everybody can not everybody has the budget and the infrastructure to be able to do what Indiana just did, right? So if you can have a successful football program where you recruit your area really well and you're just a really hard team to play against, who's to say Michael Oxley can't build up Maryland into becoming what Iowa was, just East Coast? You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of football, a lot of really good football players in the DMV in that area. If you can continue to recruit there really well, it's just about will they give him the opportunity to stay there. But I'm with you. I think I like the teams he puts out there every year. Not that they're always like the best teams, but I feel like they always have like there's always a reason or a point or a strategy behind them. If that makes sense.
Yeah, they're 4-3 this year. They're coming off 3 straight losses. All 3 of those losses within 4 points. All 3 of them. And we're talking Washington, Nebraska, and UCLA. So just like a big old gauntlet of Big Ten teams that they got to deal with. And that just happens. Like there's a world where they're undefeated right now. And I think a lot of people just kind of forget that. Like I think all 3 of those, they were up in the fourth quarter and they managed to lose, which I think where a lot of this fire Mike Loxley stuff is coming from. And I can understand where that's frustrating, but sometimes it's just on the kids, you know? You know what I mean? Like you could put stuff in place and it just really comes down to now. Obviously, Sig does a great job of making sure he has the right kids. So it doesn't even come to that point. And maybe that's an argument as to why he should be fired. But like you play a football game and there's a winner and there's a loser. All right. So are we just going to fire every loser that happens in every football game? We're in for that's not really a job that people are going to want. Right. It's not really sustainable to be thinking like that. And yeah, I just think it's unfair philosophy. I think it's very similar to like kind of a James Franklin situation where it's like, you're like, all right, kind of enjoy with what you have, considering your history and kind of because Signetti in Indiana, that's lightning in a bottle. No one's ever going to be able to replicate that. So this idea that you're going to be able to, by upgrading Mike Loxley, I think is a very, especially in this particular coaching cycle, is just very naive and just risky. You know, I don't think anyone should do that. But yeah, keeping it with Maryland. So they have a game this weekend in SECU Stadium, SECU Stadium.
It's an odd place, Brad. Have you ever been?
No, don't plan on it either. In College Park, Maryland. It's going to be on November 1st. It's their homecoming. So it's going to be CBS, 2:30 Central Time, 3:30 Eastern. The spread is – hold on. Bear with me. 21.5, the 50-point total. Indiana owns the series so far, historically, 8-5. They've only won 2 of the last 5. However, they did win last year in the Signetti era, so they're 1-0 against Maryland in the Signetti era.
They think Maryland scoring 20 points?
What?
No, that can't be right. What's the math there? I don't know. That makes no sense to me. That line, that combination makes no sense. A line plus over?
Well, it's projecting a 30-20 game or a 35-15 game. Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me at all. I think that's crazy.
Not really.
Defense travels, man. Like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, but these are Vegas spreads, Keezer.
I know. I get it. That is one. Like, when we say the line every week.
You think it's going to be a 40-point, 50-point spread every week? It's not. It's not going to be that.
No. I'm just saying I thought it'd be a little bit higher. I thought it'd be like 25, 26, 27. Maryland's getting a lot of respect here, which is like I don't know what to think because my gut tells me that their crowd's really not going to be engaged, but at the same time, like it's homecoming and that's a fan base that'll talk themselves into something crazy, like for sure. So that the environment might be a little bit better than I was about to give it credit for. But yeah, that's a really strange stadium and a weird place to play. Even like when we went there last time and got thumped, or not last time, but I went to see them in 2021 when we went there, and just like stadium was 2/3 empty. Like no real buzz around their football team, and we got clobbered. Like it was going to be a very easy win for Maryland, and nobody really gave a shit. So I'd be curious what that environment's going to look like.
Yeah, I'm not really too concerned about it. I do see it as a very trappy game just because I do think Maryland's good. I think they're a solid bowl eligible team in the Big Ten, which makes them pretty frisky against anyone in the country, especially at home. And they have a really good young quarterback who's a freshman. Their two leading sack getters, Mathis and Scruggs. Not Scruggs, no.
Stewart.
Different S name.
Yeah.
They are very good. They combine for 10 sacks as true freshmen. That's pretty good. They're two leading sack getters on the edges there. They're really just a young, up-and-coming team, and that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, just stick with Mike Locksley. It's a good little core to build off of. Get some momentum. Hit the transfer portal hard. Like I said, there can only be one winner, but you got to stick with something, and something's going to break through at some point. Consistency is really basically what I'm trying to say. Like, starting from scratch is dumb when you're not, at the bottom, right? Like it's always felt silly to me when your team goes 6-6, 7-5, and you fire your head coach. You're still upper pack of the rest of the country, so you're starting scratch and already putting yourself down to the bottom 25% of teams by doing that. So it's just risky. But yeah, let's try to stick it with less Mike Locksley talk and more kind of what's going to go on in this game. Offensive side of the ball for the Hoosiers, they got to deal with those two freshmen out wide, Mathis and Stewart. So it's going to be a big matchup for Carter Smith and Benson. We do these game previews, and I'm just trying to find good matchups, things to highlight. But, we all know what's going to happen.
What's all like Jalen Husky's fourth in the conference in interceptions. I think he's got 3. And like Sig said, this is a Maryland football team that will turn you over. They also, on the other side of the ball, don't turn the ball over at all. Malik Washington's got 3 interceptions on the year. That's the same as Fernando. They haven't fumbled once. And they're not a very productive rushing team, right? They use a bunch of different running backs, but you go look at their passing attack, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys with more than 20 catches, including the running back. The tight end gets really involved, and they have a go-to receiver, Shalik Knotts, 26 catches, 421 yards, 5 touchdowns. He's not even their leading receiver in terms of catches. So they spread the ball around. They're gonna be tough to defend. And they don't allow sacks. It's like Signetti said it in his press conference, 2 sacks allowed on the year. So not only do you have to get past their offensive line, but you also have to get Washington on the ground. And that's been a tough task too. And it's I like our defense and I like the matchup here. I think we have a really cool opportunity to go in there and mess up some of those metrics. But when you're looking at the stats and looking at what they've put on the football field, this is going to be this is going to be a really fun game, or should be.
Yeah, it can get a little weird. This is a team that lost to UCLA last week or 2 weeks ago, the week before.
Yeah, but not every team travels well. They're young. They're going to be playing at home. They'll have the homecoming crowd. It's a little one of the things that I was, before I realized it was homecoming, is it's hard to mentally focus when you walk into a stadium and it's 75% empty and everyone expects you to kick the shit out of the other team there and they came to play. So it's having your head on straight and walking into a hostile environment or understanding what you're walking into. I guess it almost helps them a little bit that there should be a little bit more of a crowd. The Hoosiers, that is.
But yeah, I think there will be a crowd. It's the number 2.
When you have a young team like Maryland, you have to take them week by week because there so many different things can happen. And then if you have all those young dudes with crazy amounts of talent focusing on one goal, they can come out and try and play spoiler this weekend. That being said, that's not what I see happening.
Yeah, you kind of threw me off because you started talking about offense, but yeah, they do have that really good O-line. on the other side of the ball. Dorian Fleming, is he healthy?
The tight end?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Well, he's a
Would
very
assume
talented
yes.
player. And, they have him. They have Farouk. Shalik Knotts is very good, makes a lot of big plays, big splash guy. But they really lean on Farouk and Fleming. They lead the team in receptions. They do a really good job spreading the ball, spreading the wealth around, which I think can match up well against our defense, where it's not just all on one guy. You can kind of have these guys actually running sideline to sideline and see if something can kind of break through, and you have that home crowd.
Well, I think that's one of the things that Indiana doesn't play man. Like, this defense never plays man. But if you look individually at the way they're personneled out, like, Indiana has the personnel to pretty much perfectly match up with a team that likes to spread the ball around. Like, you're not going to go attack D'Angelo Pons. You can go and try and attack Jamari Sharp. You saw, like, it looked like it may have been working early in the season. That's not happening anymore. Boykin's just getting healthier as the year goes on. You're not attacking him. And the two safeties have been two of the best safeties in the country. And then it's like, okay, cool. Go after Aiden Fisher. Good luck. And then Rohardy's the best football player on the planet. So, like, where are you attacking this defense? I'm not even sure in terms of in the secondary. And then good luck stopping the four guys they decide to send to the quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Fat Boy makes a good point. We can't, everyone's out to play spoiler. We can't look out of anyone. But it's like, we outmatch them in almost every capacity. It really comes down to, can we get to Malik Washington? Can we make him uncomfortable? Get to that O-line. I mean, just everything every week's going to be the same until we play Ohio State. It's like we're better than this team. So it's like, are we going to show up that day? Probably are. But then how is Maryland going to show up? Are they going to play a little? Because all these other teams, the thing with Indiana is that they're up here and they stay up here. They don't go up and down. These other teams, they go up and down and up and down and up and down. That's how you get these 8-4, 7-5, very confusing teams, 9-3. Ohio State's the same way. They just stay up here. Very rarely do you catch them. Sometimes you're able to catch them when you're reeling up, and then it becomes a close game. They still pull it out in the end there. So, like, that Ohio State-Nebraska game last year would be an example of that. Really the key is, if they do catch Maryland on a day where they're up, and they're up to where they can beat anyone in the country, which they have the capability of doing, how are they going to respond on the road? And good news is that they've already had to face Iowa and they've already had to face Oregon on the road, and I think that's only just going to help them moving forward as they go through this.
Could not agree more.
When we play Penn State, who arguably has a more talented roster than Indiana does, and they're going to have to go on the road and get that done. But yeah, with Maryland, Big Ten team with plenty of talent. It's like playing UCLA, right? It's like there's going to be athletes there. They have the DMV right there. Plenty of athletes to work with. High metro area population. Yeah, Indiana is going to dominate, but how much is that allowed by Maryland is really the question.
I like the question, and I like where you started there, because I'll start with keys to success, and it's definitely to get Malik Washington on the ground. If Maryland's tendencies stay in this game and Indiana can't get to the quarterback, then they're a very zone-heavy team. With the amount of weapons that Maryland has, you start to piece together, okay, what could an upset look like? It's like, well, like, quarterback had an unbelievable day. It's like, yeah, if he can't have a good day if he's on the ground. So get the guy on the ground. Number two would be protect the football. The other thing that Maryland's tremendous at is protecting the football and turning you over. If you protect the football and hold the football, odds are your playmakers are going to go make plays. Then it's just like, then it becomes fun after that. It's like key number three is like, let's get the Heisman Doza campaign rocking and rolling. Like, go on the road and throw 3-4 touchdowns. Like, get Surratt and Coop and EJ and all these guys involved. And let's just get after it and really put this thing into overdrive. step forward, be focused, because I've seen what that stadium looks like when there's supposed to be things going on. So it's like I definitely don't take them lightly. But and then number 5 is like, this should be an opportunity to put another really nice game on film for recruits and be like, this, to your point, Brad, like Indiana's going to score 45 to 50 points on offense, and they're going to allow about 10 points on defense. And that's basically that's what this team is. That's what the numbers say. That's what the stuff on the field says. And until that changes, like, what do you want us to say?
Yeah,
See this question from Salute.
It's ironic you're on a podcast saying there's not much to say here. You know,
No.
really
In terms of,
they're the more talented team. They're better coached. Will Loxley's still good. Doesn't mean he's, everyone can't have the best coach in the country. Just like everyone can't win every game, right? And then it just comes down to just being better. Are they going to be better that day? That's what it really comes down to. And it's really hard to give these previews when you're the more talented team and you know that, just because what's the matchup that we're probably most worried about? It's probably those 2 freshmen coming off the edge, matching up against our offensive tackles. But love our offensive tackles. I'm sure they can make. But those DNs might be able to make a couple plays. Is that going to change the outcome of the game? I'm not sure, because the execution level in Indiana is so high that basically you have to play a perfect game to beat them. That's what Ohio State did, and that's what Notre Dame did last year. And until you see something like that, Iowa did that too, and they weren't even able to win. So when you put that all together, it's like, yeah, Maryland could make it a game, but are they going to win? And we'll see. Only time will tell.
Only time will tell, Brad. Do you have a score prediction?
A score prediction? $35-14, just because that's what the spread's telling me, and honestly, it makes a lot of sense. Actually, no, 42-14. I like another touchdown from Fernando. I think he's the real deal. He's gonna really show out in this game as a Heisman guy, and the big reason why we win this game.
I full blown agree. I like 45-10. That's what the numbers tell me. They're going to put up between 45 and 55 points, and they're going to allow 10. So that's what I like. If Aiden Fisher doesn't play, I still probably like 45-10. It's so crazy too. Like, because what are you going to, like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you Aiden Fisher is, like, not having Aiden Fisher is going to have no impact on an Indiana football team, right? But like, that's kind of like, Maryland is a team that, like, Fisher, if he needs it, should be able to take a week off, and they just go out and clobber anyway.
Lowering my desk. But yeah, it's honestly, like, personally, I would kind of like Fisher to take a week off, and then just kind of have Bones and Hardy in there, because that's who's going to be the starters next year.
Yeah, let Fish rest up a week for Penn State.
Yeah, I think that'd be wise. Yeah, and then just seeing how the pass rush is able to do against a much better O-line is probably something I want to look at. I don't think we're going to get 32 pressures again this week. But, yeah, that's going to be a big key, and that is probably the recipe of Maryland finding success and making this weird, would be their O-line showing up, our pass rush not getting there, and like they usually have all year. And that would be the recipe for Maryland to make this a game, and would allow them to potentially even win it. Would be that O-line play on their end. Be able to stop our D-line that has a bit of injuries, but not to a point where it's like panic mode for us, but to a point where it's like, okay, we don't have Wyatt. We can only go with Daly and Kamara on the pass rush, really. And there's not much going on beyond that. Can they hold our edge at bay enough to where they can spread the ball out to Farouk, Smith, Fleming, all those guys, and get the ball moving for them because they're going to have to score with us. Because on the other side of the ball, we're going to score 4 touchdowns at least. So they have to get to 4 touchdowns. And this is a team that's given up 6 touchdowns all year. That's why it's just really hard to like kind of comprehend what's possible for these upset bids. Obviously, we're kind of new to this position where it's like, yeah, we're trying not to look over every team, but like at the end of the day, it's kind of hard to when you're the shit. And these games are just going to come at random, and this could be one of them where it just gets really weird, like Iowa. But I kind of felt like we had that game already with Iowa, and it seems like the team knows what to do to not put themselves in that position again.